And because it doesn't make any difference whether we're in or we're out, the people should have a choice. The people should have a final choice on Theresa May's deal or staying in the European Union. Because, like I said before, we haven't got sovereignty. Because the Bank of England has got sovereignty. And all of the other people that run the central banks of their countries have the sovereignty over the country. And people think it doesn't make any difference to them that these people run everything and control the government, whichever government is in power. Brexit is just a distraction. It's something that Cameron thought up because he thought everybody would vote to stay in the European Union, contrary to lots of people saying that they wanted to get out of the European Union because of racial things. Another distraction sent to divide the people of our nation. Just as Brexit is a distraction away from the people that really have sovereignty over the nation's lives, the nation's people's lives. It is the Bank of England and the people that run it and the people that you don't see are running it. They're the ones that have the sovereignty. The handful of people that actually control the resources of the planet have the sovereignty. All you are, all everybody else is, that 99% that Occupy talked about 8 years ago now, that super hierarchy of individuals that nations owe trillions to, control you. But you just let it all go by. You think to yourself, well, what can I do about it? Well, the only thing that you can do about it really is to say that you don't want it anymore, that it's got to stop. And that will really screw the politicians up. Because they're the ones that are supporting the bankers. And they know it. These politicians do. If they don't know it, they must be thick. But anyway, getting back to Brexit. It's just a screw up, isn't it? Yeah. It was a screw up from day one, really, because it divided the nation almost in half, 48 to 52. You know, it wasn't a mass vote for exiting the European Union. And when you really think about it, they were lied to by the people that, by the politicians that wanted to exit the Union, the European Union. So really, I suppose, as a bystander, because I think it's a total waste of time, all this Brexiteering stuff. For 3 years almost, it's been a total waste of time, because we should be doing other things. We should be developing our public services, our roads. We should be thinking of actually developing new ways of having public transportation, which is public transportation which has zero carbon. We should be thinking about developing new cities that have zero carbon footprints, that cities that are self-sustaining. Clean 21st century cities. And, Birmingham can still stay Birmingham. It's just that it'll be a lot smaller if we build new cities, 21st century cities for the children of this nation. That's what we should be thinking of. We shouldn't have wasted 3 years on something that was just a tool of division, to have the people arguing together about what really is a triviality. That's what Brexit is. A triviality. And it's going on for another 2 weeks. And maybe till the 22nd of May. Because if we're not out by the 22nd of May and we don't get an extension, I'd love an extension on this house, but it's a council house. Anyway. Where was I? Oh yes, 22nd of May. And if we don't get out by then, we've got to hold European elections for European MPs in England, even though we're still supposed to be getting out eventually. I mean, the EU wants us in the EU. So if we stay in the EU, we can have a voice in the EU. We can suggest that the EU, instead of arguing with each other, starts to develop new 21st century cities for their countries, with new landscaping all over the place. But no, they just want us to keep being in division. Just like the Houses of Parliament are always in division. It's all a joke. They couldn't have cooperation if they tried. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. And no comic should laugh at himself, should he? Perhaps I'm not a comic. I don't think I'm funny at all. Some people think I'm funny, I don't know why. But it is a very few. I blame it on this weed that I'm laughing so much myself. But it is, isn't it? I mean, what a joke. The whole 2.5 years, almost 3, just a joke. I mean, they've got knife crime going right, kids fighting with each other, drawing knives on each other. I mean, I had a knife drawn on me back in the 60s, but you know, that's life, isn't it? I suppose. But the 60s is the same as the 20 teens. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed at all. Sometimes you could say it's got worse, but there's still, strife amongst the working class people, the ordinary people in every community. They argue with each other. They're selfish. They're what's the word? They want what their neighbours got. But if you change the way that the system functions, and you have a completely different system, a different way of doing things, perhaps this community stress that seems to have got worse and worse over the years will fade away. We have, and I've said it lots of times before, we have the technology to provide for the nation's food, clothing and housing at zero cost. All we need are the resources to create the food, clothing and housing that everybody needs. And we have the technology already to produce all of the things that a 21st century quality lifestyle should be there. We have the technology, so it should be there, and those resources should be free. The same with electricity and energy of any kind, as it should be free. There should be no cost. Now, obviously, people would still have to do the things to make that system work, and that people would still be doing some form of employment. But with the technology that we have already, estimates say that at least 95% of the jobs that we're almost forced into now would not be there. They would be technology would replace the workforce in 95% of employment. So the question must be asked: what are we going to do? What are the children going to do with their lives? And that what they're going to do is they're going to learn more and be excited about learning, because there's so much to learn. Now, all they're actually doing is learning the struggle.